Hello and good morning to the second webinar from the Dynamic Projection Institute. My name is Martin Willner. I am Head of Software Engineering, and today I will introduce you and show you how to do dynamic projections with the MDC software on the MDC-X Media Server with our main product, the Mirrorhead. As you see, the tree in the background is already burning, so today maybe it gets a little hot, and I really want to show you some very hot stuff and hot software, and how easily you can do some dynamic projections, projection mappings, perspective corrections with just a few clicks. And once you get familiar with the software, you can create amazing shows, amazing effects. Well, let's see, we have 1 hour, so let's start. For this session, I will share my desktop screen on the MDC-X server. So what you will see today is real time. It's all done at the same time, and I will now show you my desktop. And here we go. I just have to adjust a few things. So, okay. Good. Now you see my desktop, and on the right side of the screen, you see a small image over there. And this small image over there on the right is the actual output of the projector. It's a small square on the top right. On the left here, I have the screen of a camera in the room, so you actually see what I see from my working place. On the left side over here, you see the main program, MDC, and we go into that now. For the reason when you start the MDC-X server, we start blank, just with the desktop, so I will close the current project now, and we start with a blank screen. So yesterday I explained that when you buy MDC-X, our media server, this one here, it comes pre-installed with the operating system and the software. And when you first connect it to the Mirrorhead and start it up, you will start with a desktop with a blank screen, but with pre-installed software, with pre-installed templates. It's pre-configured. So the MDC-X server is a standalone system ready to go, plug in and have fun. So now you see the desktop here that shows up when you first boot MDC-X server after you have connected it to the Mirrorhead. So what we will do now is I will go deeply into the MDC software, which is capable and doing all the perspective corrections, all the shows and all the things. First things first, I will start the MDC Launcher. MDC Launcher is a small interface with some very basic tasks like starting templates, select projects, pack and go projects, and so on. You will find all the documentation in our manuals. I will first start with a small template I created. As I said before, MDC-X comes with templates, so you're ready to go like I am now. In the beginning, I want to start with some basics of dynamic projections I showed you yesterday. And one thing is, with dynamic projection, you have 3 things you can control. You can control where is the picture, what's in the picture, and the last thing is how I correct the picture. So if you have these 3 tasks or these 3 things, you will find them in the user interface also. So let's look at the user interface of the MDC software. You have here are the main tabs you're working. On the top, you see the menu. Here you see the main tabs for the current layer. Here you see the timeline. I come to that back later. Here you have the play, pause, and stop button. Once I play, the time indicator starts to roll. And down there, you see some indications of frame rate and so on. So let's start with some very basic things. First, we want to have a media. We want to project something out of the projector, so we need a media. To add a media, I just double-click in this window, go to my footage folder on the system, and in the first place, I just need some very basic, I load a test picture. Okay. So now I have a media in the system. On the second thing is I need to tell the system where to project it. Okay, where to project this is DMX, because as I told yesterday, the mirror head is a DMX system and it's controlled by DMX. So when I move the bubble here up and down, left and right, or in circle, I move the mirror of the mirror head. But as you see below down there, nothing moves in the room. Why? Because the software does not have any canvas, or we call it map, where the media is projected on and then moved with the mirror. So we have to add a map. Okay, I just click map, and as in the whole system, I add a map by double-clicking. Wow, what we now see is a rectangular grid with 9 points. And if you look closely down there, you see this exactly rectangular click here in the room. Okay, now we have a map. When I now go back to the DMX and move it, it moves up and down, left and right. Oh, left and right is the opposite. Well, that's because the orientation of the mirror is up. Since we can change the way how we mount the mirror head in the room, you can always flip the orientations to get a better feeling when you're programming. So I have to flip it. I go to ArtNet, pan tilt, invert pan. Pan is the horizontal axis, tilt is the vertical axis. As you see, I'm just moving the grid around in the room. It's only reflected on the mirror head by the mirror, so the reflection goes out, and so everything looks like you see. If I double-click this window, I can detach it, so I can have more control and more overview of what I'm doing. Since I'm starting programming now, I save my project. I go to File, Save Project As, and save it in the default document folder and name it Programming Tutorial. Okay, so now I have a map, a media, and a position where I'm projecting the image. Okay, so I'm doing that now. I go to my map and select it, so all indicators are green, and here it's also green in the timeline, and then I go to media and double-click it. At this moment, I now see the projector projecting this image on the map at the position I've chosen. When I move here, the image is moving around in the room. Well, now I have the basic three things of dynamic projection. I have the where, it's the position in the room. I have the what, well, the media, and I have the map. That's the way how I'm projecting. But media is simple. I can load another media, let's say a small video, and if I double-click it, well, the video is playing at the position in the room where I'm projecting the image. Well, that's kind of fun, but well, maybe we want to do more, because if I project it here, the image is distorted, it looks strange, and maybe we want to fit the image right into the frame on the wall. Well, that's what are maps for. Maps make it possible to rescale, to align, to correct, or perspective correct the content of the map. As you see, the map has 9 points, 9 mapping points, and you see there we have texture coordinates, and once I click here, we have output coordinates. I will go to that later, First, we start with the output coordinates, so I can show you what the difference between output coordinates and texture coordinates are. I go back to a test image because it's easier to understand if I show you a test image. If we want to fit this image here into this frame, we have to scale it down. Since we are only projecting on a flat surface, we don't need 9 mapping points. 9 mapping points are too much, and it's over specification. So we need less. To go down with the interpolation points, we just click on the map, mapping, and details decrease. Now we have only 4 points on the outside. If I click into this frame and choose my mouse wheel, I scale it up and down. On the window on the top right here, on the screencast you see, that's the same as the projector is putting out, because the output of the projector is the same as you see down here. So this is a copy of what the projector really does, so you can see it. If I'm using the mouse wheel, you see I'm scaling up and down. Well, what I can do now is try to fit it inside the frame. To do it in a very quick way, I just grab all the corner points and align them to the frame. How to do that? It's easy. Deselect all the corner points, choose your first corner point, and drag it onto the first corner of the frame where you want it. Then we go to the next corner point and do the same. You can do this on a pixel level. You can go as accurate as 1 pixel of your output to scale the image perfectly into the frame. I do it here only for demonstration purposes with the mouse. So as you see, I'm now inside the frame, and well, that looks good, but it's distorted. As you see, it should be a circle as it's a test image, but the circle is no longer a circle, it's some egg shape or ellipse shape. We need to stretch it. So now we come to the point, what's the difference between outputs and texture coordinates? Let's see it like that. The output coordinates are like a frame for a canvas, the wooden frame behind. So the wooden frame here is a rectangular shape, but now we have to stretch the canvas itself. Think of it, the canvas is like a rubber surface. You can bend a rubber surface or put the rubber surface, which is elastic, over a frame. Once you pull on both ends, you stretch it. But you don't stretch the frame, you stretch the content of the frame. So to do so, I select again my map, go to the texture coordinates, and you see in the texture view, you see it's the whole image that we put on the canvas. Right, we really do that, but it's squeezed together. What we have to do is we have to crop it or stretch and crop it to go directly into the frame so it's no longer distorted. Well, it's kind of easy. If I click here and scroll in and out, you see that it's like cropping the image. If I'm moving around here, you see I move the content around in the frame. Well, that's already very amazing and nice because it's in real time. Why? I can go to Media, change to a video, and do the same at real time. Well, that's nice. Okay, we go back to the media. As you see, once you use MDC software, it's all in real time. And that's the nice thing, you don't have to pre-render or things like that. It's all going real time. Now I'm trying to rescale the image, so it's the circle in the middle is a circle in the middle again. What I do now is I click here, and I only want to scale the x-axis. So I press X on the keyboard and hold it, and then I press plus and minus to scale it down to circle. Okay, that looks good. On the left side, you see the crop factor here changes. I'm going a mouse wheel now and align it, and you see the circle is a perfect circle. In the texture coordinates, I choose only that part of the image, so it's cropped down. I can go a little bit more out, Okay, now it looks good. I have a circle, I have the perfect alignment in the frame, and I have a position. We have done all the three things. We know what to project, we know where to project it, and we did the how to project it. How was done by aligning the coordinate points of the output coordinates to our frame. We changed the texture coordinates so the distortion is corrected. And we did the position. Three things. So now it's the time to store what we have done. To do so, we go to presets. But what is a preset? A preset is a collection of states of the program at the current time. I will show you. A preset you can understand a preset as a container storing the values of different states. Every value has a fade time. So what does it mean? If I want to save the position where I'm projecting, if I want to save the media and the map, so the how and what I'm projecting, I have to tell the program, okay, that's the set I want to save in the preset. To do so, I go to presets, and then here in the timeline, I select the timeline, the tracks I want to save in the preset. Here, you have the track for the map. I want to take that. And in the next step, I want to take the mirror position. So I click Control, and I have the two tracks, media with the map and the mirror position. Then I go to preset and double click it. That's all. I've saved the position, the media, and the map correction. To rename it, I go into this text field and type frame 1. Okay, now we have saved frame 1. Now we can go on and do the same steps on another part of the room or another object. But we are not bound to objects. We can do our correction wherever we want. So let's say we go somewhere else, let's say here, and we want to display the image here outside the frame. To do so, I go back to my map, like here, go to my output coordinates, and now I want the biggest possible image again. So I want to reset it to a big screen, so everything is again filled out. So I have a feeling down there in the room, how big can the picture be? To do so, I just click here, and the easy way is to press F on the keyboard, go to the texture coordinates and do the same. So it's output F, texture F, or you can also go back here and go to full screen. It's the same, texture, full screen, output, full screen. So everything is reset. I prefer the keyboard shortcut. So here we are with our picture again, and it's quite large. And I try to fit it in this area right beside the screen. Okay, to do so, I go back to my output coordinates. Let's say the position is okay. Take the first corner point, put it here. Take the next corner point, put it here. Take the next corner point. There are keyboard shortcuts for doing easy manipulation with the keyboard. Arrow shift down, I can do this. Now I'm doing it with the keyboard. Do it the way I want. Okay, so now I have it fit in here. It should, on the camera, it should look good from your perspective. Okay, but the image is a little bit too high. So, okay, good. Now we are good. So again, we have the output coordinates, we have the texture coordinates, and we have the position. For me, it looks quite okay. And again, I want to store this as a preset. And I call this preset. We have the tracks and a double click and tell it this is the main position. Okay. So now we have two positions with two maps and everything. And now we can change it. And now the magic of the dynamic projection and the software comes. If I click frame 1, we go to frame 1. So the mirror moves, the map changes, and it scales up and down. We never told the program how to do it. It just interpolates linearly between all the positions and all the data, and just does everything for us. That's nice. So we have here a nice animation, and what we can do now is we can change the media at this position. Okay, it looks good, and go back to the frame 1. But now we have a small problem. What if we want the media stay? Now it's changing back to the media we have chosen before once we save the preset. So what if we want to select the media here, go to our main position and let the media continue running and go back and the media should stay? Well, for this, there is the lock media. You have here two locks, and if I lock the media here and I choose a media, the media stays. The lock means lock my own media, but keep the current media that's in the queue running. So I have a frame 1 and I have a frame 2, my main position, and just go back and forth at real time. If I want to add a new media, and just double click here, and let's say we do some other video like this. Well, I change it, and again, we're going back and forth. That's the basics of dynamic projection. We can also do some other things. We can change the way how we go from position 1 to position 2. So I do another position here in the room. To do so, I go back to my test image. I go to Outputs, press F, go to my texture coordinates, press F, and then I move somewhere else in the room. Let's say into this frame over there. Oh, I will do it here. Okay. Again, I scale it down, I rotate it so it fits into this area here. And now again, I start to correct it so it looks okay. Yeah, looks quite nice. It depends on the perspective and where the camera is and how it looks, but it gives you a good feeling how easy it is. Okay, again, I have the correction. And what we do now is we load here another media. And let's say here we go with some cloud or something like that. Yeah, let's do this. Some butterflies flying over here in the room. So what we can do, I save this again as a preset and tell it as butterfly. So we can go from frame 1, the butterflies stay. We can go there, the butterflies scale up, and we can go back here. Since we have lock media, so every time I start with butterfly, the butterflies stay on the whole round when I go around with the presets. Maybe you have noticed here 3 different values beside of a preset. These are the fade times. The first column is the media, the map fade time. The second is the audio fade time, and the third is the DMX fade time. The DMX fade time tells the system how long it takes to reach the final values that are stored inside the preset. The map value is the same. How many seconds it takes to reach the final value of the map correction we have told the system. I will show you the main difference, how it works. If I go to butterfly and increase the map correction time, let's say to 5 seconds. When I click this preset, it takes 1 second to reach your position, but it takes 5 seconds to do the correction of the map. I go back to the main position. which the settings tell 1 second for map, 1 second for DMX. Okay, it goes there, and at the same point, the correction and the position is reached. Back to butterfly, 1 second for DMX, 5 seconds for map correction. I can reverse this. I can say 1 second for map, and let's say 5 seconds for DMX. So the effect is the opposite. First, we rotate the map, and then we reach the final position. We can also do this in sync. We can go by both on 5. So we go to position 1, and now it takes 5 seconds for the butterflies to fly behind the tree and on the left. We have already done an amazing or very cute and nice effect of dynamic projection, because with the help of the mirror, we are moving an image around in the room, and with the projector, we projected the image, and we do it in real time. So if I remove the editing grid, and I click between the two presets, we have already flying butterflies in the room in less than 20 minutes, and I started with the basic introduction. So it's very, very easy. We can also let the butterflies fly here inside the frame, fly them out in 5 seconds. So the fade times are the time to reach the final position. And these are very nice values because the way they behave is very nice. If you click this preset, you know it will be reached in 5 seconds, no matter how far you are away from the preset. So if I go just a little bit down here, and now I press butterfly again, the small distance is done in 5 seconds. So you can even move the butterflies around here now in real time. Let's say here, and now I click here. Now it takes 5 seconds to fly over there. That's what the fade times are all about. And fade time synchronization and fade time alignment and arrangement is magic. And that's where the experience comes from. The more you do, you will realize that experimenting with fade times does the magic and all the illusion you need to do nice effects. So again, we have our position here with the butterflies and the 2 frame positions. But what if you want a specific media for a specific position, and you want to do a fade in, fade out effect? Let's say on frame 1, I want to show 1, then I want to go it away, then I want to go to the main position, show something, and then I want to show butterflies. Okay, so we have to change our presets now, and we do that. We go to our frame 1, and we say we don't want butterflies here, but we always want to see this video here. Okay, that's okay. We've chosen the media, and now we have to update the preset. To do so, we select again the tracks we want, so the map and the mirror, and click the update button. Now the preset is updated, so the values inside the preset changed. Now we go to and we now remove the lock media, because we don't want any longer accept media from outside. We want our own media. Now we go to the main position. Since it has locked media, it stays the same. I remove it, and let's say here we want to show this video. Okay, we do so, and we update our main position. So we have 3 positions with 3 corrections and 3 media. 1, 2, and 3. Our butterflies reached in 5 seconds. Now you see we are fading from frame 1 to the main position, but we see the scaling. If we don't want that, so let's say it fades out, fades in, how to do that? This is the magic black when move feature. I show you now how to do it. I select the main position preset, like now, go to DMX, and switch on the black when move trigger here. Go back to my preset and update it. Now I go to the frame 1, go to the DMX, switch on the magic black when move, go to the preset and update it. Now the magic comes. When I now press main position, it goes away, and fades in on the final position. I go to frame 1, it goes away, and it comes back again. If I press butterfly, it fades to the butterfly in 5 seconds, because the butterfly preset does not have any black when move effect. So if I want that, I go again to the DMX, black when move, go to the preset and update my butterfly. Since the butterfly is a black when move effect, the 5 seconds are no longer necessary or not useful. I want to go fast between the states. So frame 1, frame 2, back to frame 1, and now back to the butterfly. Okay, now let's let the butterflies fly in the room. Okay, we can do that. We need another position. So for a quick effect, I just drag it over there, and you see it's gone. Why? Because the black when move is on. I don't want that. I remove it, and now I still see the butterflies flying. Let's say here. I don't want any distortion or correction or anything with the map. With this preset, I just want a new position in the room without any other values in the preset. To do so, I go to presets, and I just use the drag of the position of the mirror. If I now store the preset, this preset only contains a new butterfly position, but does not change the map or the media. This preset only contains DMX values, so position values of the mirror. So I go butterfly, DMX only. So I go to butterfly. That's a black when move, but this, we fly in 1 second over there. 1 second is too fast, so let's increase it to, let's say, 30 seconds. And now the butterflies fly in 30 seconds across the edge of the room with no correction in this case, but still it works. It works the way that you can now have a small effect with just 4 presets. You do much more than you can do with any other system, because you're moving all the brightness around the room with just a few presets and a few clicks, and we can change the media all the time. So for this case, we do have a small show, 2 positions in the frame outside and butterflies flying around the room. This could be in 180 degrees around the room. There can be hundreds of presets, hundreds of possibilities. Later on, I will show you how to animate it. But now, first, I will show you some very nice features of the MDC software, which make many things possible and let your creativity rock and burn because it's so hot. To do so, I go back to my map, enable it, and just press F again to make it big, F again, go to my test image, and then go somewhere where you can see it. The map correction of the MDC software has 2 modes, linear and perspective mode. The linear mode is just linear interpolation of when I do some correction. I show you. If I just go here, we have a so-called linear system. It's just linear interpolation, not perspective correction. But the perspective correction is very nice. If I go to mapping, texture, interpolation, and change to perspective mode, you see now we have real perspective mode. We have a real perspective mode, and we can do real perspective correction also. This is necessary for specific alignments. The nice thing is that perspective mode does not drop the frame rate. It's only a small part, but you can neglect it. So we have also perspective correction. All the maps have mid-map correction in B-cubic states. So if you rescale maps, it's always in B-cubic mid-mapping. As long as you turn it on the program settings, you have enable mid-map flag here. It's turned on now, and you can enable mid-map. With the MDC software, you can control lots of things. You can even load live streams from webcams which are capable, or HDMI capture devices, something like that, and store it as a media. As you see, every media here has its own slot, and every time you add media, we can add some more media here. Just select it and load it inside and use it whenever you want. And you see again, perspective correction is done very, very nice. And you can do many, many things with this if you do it. So in this case, going down to here to the seat and changing the map with perspective correction may look awesome. So you can do a lot of things here, and it's very easy and very fast. As I told before, we can also do more than 4 points. 4 points maybe are just not enough. I must say that if you're changing the amount of mesh correction points, you have to keep it in the map. You cannot change the mesh correction points during manipulation. So for one position, you cannot have 100 correction points, and on the next position, you have only 4. That's not possible because there is no interpolation between the points possible. It's a mathematical problem. So I increase now here the mapping point, and you see there are many mapping points, and now I can even drag many, so I can do mapping and things like that. So the software is capable of doing all the things like that. So it looks like a crunchy, crumbled map, and we have a crumble effect. So it's very easy, and we can also, well, in real time, do the crumble over a video. So maybe it looks awkward, but well, maybe you need it for your creativity to just change it. So now we have our presets, our 4 presets, and now we want to animate them. So we have our map, and with all the corrections and everything like that, and we want to do all the corrections, and we want to animate it, so we have a show. A show can be different. You can have a show that you are manually operating, but just clicking the buttons, and then the show runs. So a manual operation of the show would be done with MDC Touch, and I'm now going to show you how you can operate and how you can do shows. One way to do shows is to use the timeline. The timeline here enables you to record presets and do the show directly from your timeline. In the first step, I will show you how to do it in a basic way and how to do it very, very simple. I press pause now and change the length of my timeline. Let's say my show is 2 minutes long, and with the current time indicator here, I go to the beginning or press here. If I now go to my first preset, let's say we start in frame 1, I go to the first frame, and now I'm start recording my presets. To do so, I go to Layer Presets and say Lock on Timeline. This means that every time I press a preset, the values of the preset are copied into the timeline. So what I do now, Lock on Timeline is on, I press, and you see here small indications. Let's start. Okay, now my show is running, and I stay in the first frame. Now I go to the main position, stay here, go back to my first frame, go back to my butterfly position, stay there. Now I let the butterflies fly over in 30 seconds to the next position. As you see down there, you see keyframes. You can manipulate later every keyframe. You can do this like in any other programs which is capable of keyframe programming. So it's very simple to do it. And now we are done. You see, we are almost reached the final position of the keyframe. Now we are here. And now we go back to our first frame. And let's say we stay here until the timeline is reached, the final. Now I press pause again, preset, lock on timeline, remove it, and well, we're done. We have a project where we have a fixed animation. I go back to the beginning, and you see we start here, the turn time indicator runs. Now we go over there, and so on. So we can do a perfect timed show and animation. The benefit is this is quick, easy, well, ready to go. We have a show in less than 15 minutes. But the backdraw is that we cannot go back to our presets because we copied the values of the presets into the timeline, but there is no connection back to the presets. Another case is that we cannot go into the animation while it's running. We cannot stop it. We cannot say, okay, now I want manual operation. Maybe I want to change now things while the animation is running. The system starts to get confused because it creates temporarily keyframes over the already set keyframes and so on. So this is a very specific way of programming, very special and very useful if you have a static show in a static room and say, okay, I don't need manual operations. I just want it quick, easy. Okay, you can amaze people. You can make amazing show with that. So this is timeline programming. You have lots of benefits. You can copy keyframes. You can expand time keyframes. You can stretch it, bend it like in other keyframe operating systems. But I want to show you how another way of programming, and that's the way it's also useful if you remotely connect with MDC and MDC-X over OSC or DMX or things like that. To do so, I will remove all the animations I've just created, so the timeline is blank, no keyframes. This is a magic button down there, reset keyframe animation. This resets all keyframes. This removes all keyframes in the program. Sometimes you create keyframes by accident because you sometimes create temporary keyframe or hit the shortcut key and create keyframes, and then you have a keyframe and the program starts acting strange. So I tell you, this key is the magic. It's the saver of the day. So now let's say we start with our main position as here. And what we do now is I show you how to animate the project manually, and then we do some preset programming. So I save the project and quit the project. Now I show you MDC Touch, and we need MDC Touch to manually operate the programs. I just start MDC Touch. Yesterday I told you MDC Touch is also available on smartphones. Yes, it is. You can use MDC Touch or access MDC Touch, the remote touch control interface from any web browser, from any smart device, directly on MDC-X. Just go on the address of your MDC-X, and, well, you can access this over web browser. I do it now in local mode. Local mode is always available on the MDC-X server. You can always access MDC Touch directly on the desktop. If you want to access this remotely over your smartphone or web browser from another device in the network, you need an additional license, which is very cheap, but it's very useful if you need it. Okay, so we have our projects here. I go to projects, and now I start the projects with MDC Touch. When I start a project we just made here, it starts in the show mode or presentation mode. What this means is that the program runs without any programming capabilities or programming interface. It just runs in the background. In the background means there are some more magic stuff going on behind all that. So it's crash protection and state protection and watchdog timers kick in and all things like that MDC-X, our media server, is capable of to make sure the show is running, and never crashes. First thing you see, again, the three main parts I showed you before: presets, maps, and media. And we are now control it. You see, we have four presets we had before. Frame 1, main position, butterfly, and butterfly DMX only. Well, if I click here, Well, it's frame 1. As before, I have main position. Okay. I have butterfly. Okay. I have all the information I've had before. Here I have the fade times. The 3 values are map, audio, and DMX fade time. And you see, for DMX only, we said 30 seconds to reach the final position. You see it here. The star means these are Blackwin moves. So when I click it, I know, okay, this is a Blackwin move. It will go away and come back. The map, I have only one map. Well, I can select the map, and then I can change the media on the map. And you see, we have a nice overview here, and we can change the media by just clicking on the specific button. That's nice if you do a presentation. You first program your positions, and then you have your smartphone or your tablet in your hand and just go around and say, hey, okay, here's our new product. Look how it looks. And then, okay, well, let's make some fire, or yeah, it starts to rain, or we have butterflies in the room. And well, it's nice. So you can manually operate it. You can do a manual show. It's like VJing. You can even move the mirror head with the mover widget around. Sorry, I have to choose a preset which is not a Blackwin move widget, so we can see the movement. So MDC Touch is what you want. The control is play, pause, stop. You can restart. You can go automatic and manual mode, and you can move the mirror around manually. MDC Touch is also more. You can control the MDC-X server. You can control the mirrors. You can lamp on, lamp off of your projectors. It's all in the manual we have. You can read it. I show you. Here we have MDC Touch. This is the MDC Touch manual. There is every step and every button is explained, so you can see how it works and how to use it. So it's all explained. There will be some more tutorials on MDC Touch and MDC-X coming up for show programming and long time runs. Okay, every time I click on status, I can go back to my MDC here, and now I can move around in the room with my butterflies. And that's an amazing effect. It's just butterflies flying around. You will say, well, what's so important? Well, you can't do it with any other system. As long as you don't have a mirror head, you have always used a DMX on one side and the software on the other side. And with the MDC-X and MDC software in one, it's just one little box. You have everything in at your fingertips. And it's just this little computer here. And you have everything. You don't need anything more. So it's very, very, very easy. So I go back here, and now I will tell you how to program remotely or with preset time slots to do a show that's automatically running. And this is maybe it looks a little bit difficult in the first place, but once you get familiar with it, you will love it. The way why it looks like I will show you in a few moments is that what I'm showing you is the same way it's programmed from outside, like QLab. QLab is OSC capable software with timecode and other features to make big shows. And it's available for Mac, and many visual artists use it. And QLab is capable of OSC, and the whole MDC-X server and MDC software is also capable of OSC. So it's very native to implement the OSC gateway or interface. So every button you can click here is OSC command in the background. So if you want to communicate with the MDC-X server, it's the same like communicating with any other OSC device. So when I tell you every button is a OSC command, so programming a time scheduled show. It's just pressing buttons at the right time. So how to do it? I show you. We go to our MDC launcher and create auto template. I go to my show, programming tutorial, and start open. The program tells me that a template was created. I click OK. I now go to my file browser documents and open up the file programming tutorial MDC auto template. I double click it. When I open it, many people start to cry because it looks so complicated, but it's not. It's just a template with lots of information, and it's useful information. So to do so, I just save it under new name, file, save as, and just name it programming tutorial MDC auto and remove the template and click save. Here you have many lines that looks kind of strange, but it's only another way to express what's here. We have 4 presets. We have here 10 media. You can see there's an index indicator at the front, and we have 1 map. Okay, so when we want to call, let's say, frame 1, there must be a command, and you see it here, frame 1. So to do an automatic show, I just go from preset to preset and tell the program how long it takes to go or how long to wait to press the next button. Very simple. This is the first comment for the first preset on the first layer on the MDC. MDC layer 1, preset 1. Okay, then let's say I hold this state 10 seconds. Hold equals 10. The next step, I copy paste the lines. I go to preset 2, our main position, and let's say I hold it 10 seconds again. Well, let's say not 10, let's say between 10 and 15 seconds. Yes, you have a random time operator. Hold 10 to 15. Okay, now the system waits between 10 and 15 seconds. It's random. The next is we want the butterflies, and that's preset number. Well, let's take a look. Preset number 3. Here's 3. Okay, we go to 3. And we fly over to the butterflies, but we don't want to stay that long at this position. So we say we want 3 seconds. And 3 seconds after we press the butterfly button, we want to fly over to this preset number 4. And we do that. And then we know that preset number 4 takes 30 seconds to reach its final destination. So we have to wait at least 30 seconds to do our next comment or return to the beginning. And we do this. We wait here, let's say, 33 seconds, just for the sake of safety, and then we return. Return means return to the beginning. So what actually going on here and what we told in our small OSC program is call preset 1, wait 10 seconds, then press button of preset 2, wait randomly between 10 and 15 seconds, go to preset 3, so press preset 3, wait 3 seconds, press preset 4, wait 33 seconds, and then return to the beginning. Okay, so all we have to do now is to start our show. We have already saved it under programming tutorial MDC Auto. So I now go back to my MDC Touch. I go to main. I refresh this page. Here is a button. Go to automatic. And now I have programming tutorial. That's this code. I just click it. The system asks me if I want to do it, and I click OK. That's it. And now what we see is, and my hands are off, we see that now we are at the first preset. Now, 10 seconds later, we go to the second preset. It's all automatically running. So that's a very, very fast and easy way to program with presets. The nice thing is, If I go back into the programming mode and change a preset, the show, the schedule of the show, the timeline of the show does not alter. So I can change it. Let's say preset 2 is somewhere else in the room or something else, or I want to show something else. It's not changing. So I never have to touch the programming here of the show. I can change presets, but I don't have to change the timing between the values. So now it's running. And before I told you, yes, when you have this mode, you can go into manual mode. Right, I can do that. I go to status, and I see here a running project is programming running, and the system tells me that there's an automatic task job found, and the system is in automatic mode. I go to my project now by just clicking here. And when I go here under control, I have two buttons, automatic mode and manual mode. If I click manual mode now, the system switches to manual mode, which means the automatic in the background is still running, but all the commands are going to def null. They are ignored by the MDC program, but the automatic is still running. That means we never close the automatic job that's in the background, but we say we want to manual control now. Please don't do automatic stuff. You see, we reach the final destination here, but the butterflies don't go away and we go to frame 1. Why? We are in manual mode. How to see it? Go to main, and you see, warning, automatic task job found, system is in manual mode. What this means is automatic is running, but it's also in manual mode, so we can manual control. I go back to my project, and let's say I go to frame 1. And in frame 1, I want to play another, let's say we do some butterfly textures here. And now I can do manual operation. Let's say I want to show a customer something or things like that. I go to my manual mode, let the frame burn, and then I say, okay, please system go back into your automatic show, and I click automatic mode, and now the automatic will kick in at any time. So the automatic is back on. We have to wait because we don't know where the automatic state is. It just continues in the automatic mode on the next frame. Here, you see. So now we are back in automatic mode. So that's the basics of show programming. The MDC software is very powerful, and I showed you only a few things. The MDC-X server itself is all that's behind the MDC, and you see it's a Linux system. It's very powerful. And there are a few more things at the end I want to show you while the animation is running. We now have a show and the automatic, and let's say we want every day when the system starts, or every time I want to click on turn on and turn off on the big buttons here, I want this show with this automatic start, and I want the projector to start and things like that, because I don't want the remote control of the projector every day. We can do this here. We go to MDC control setup, and down there we have the default project, and let's say it's programming tutorial. We have the default automatic. It's also programming tutorial because we named it the same way. And let's say we want it to start on turn on, and we also want to turn on the mirror head and the projector once we press the turn on button. We can also do it on boot, so when the system comes from a cold start, the MDC-X server system can also start on boot. This is useful if you expect power failures in an exhibition or something like that. It's easy to turn it on. On top of here, you see 3 other things I want to mention. One thing is the OSC proxy, the MDC system proxy, and the OSC sender. Every time we press a button or the automatic kicks in with a value here, it's possible to send these values to another system. This is useful if you have one commander and, let's say, one master and one slave, or a master and a multiplexer of OSC in between, or another system like KNX or other bus system to control lightning or things like that in the room. All the OSC strings here are directly sent to the server, which you name here. You can say you want it only in manual mode, or only in manual mode, or in both modes. If you are OSC proxy, means we accept from outside OSC comments, so the local OSC proxy is enabled, or MDC system proxy. The MDC system proxy is a proxy for the MDC daemon. It's the internal system for doing system communication and system stuff to make the loading projects, watching the system, and takes care of all the things. So now I'm showing you how to do time schedules. Time schedules are when you want to start at 3 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning. You show when the shop opens, want to turn it off at 22 o'clock or things like that. I show you how to do that. There is a scheduler down here. It's scheduler, and in the scheduler you can go to templates, and there are some templates for starting or shutting down the system, like MH start. It means start the mirror head. It's like power on and turning lamp on and off. And you have here a command. And what you need to tell the system is when. Let's say I wanted to start it at 0 minutes at 9 o'clock in the morning. Every day, every month, every weekday. Here's in German. On the newer operating system version, it's already all in English. This is because it's my system and it's not up to date on the user interface. So this is German. In our manual here of the MDC system, you see at the end, there's also the time scheduler, and there you see here over there, there's the scheduler. This is the manual of the scheduler. It's only one page because it's very simple. And you have many comments. You can tell the system what to do. I say start all mirrors at 9 o'clock, and I edit. And that's all. So I can do many things like load projects here. I can load a specific project at a specific time, and so on. So that's how the scheduler works and what you can do with the scheduler. So scheduling is important for shows, for different kind of setups. If you want automatic show changing, it's all in this button down here, the scheduler, which makes it all possible. So this is scheduling. It's also included. The MDC server itself has many possibilities in the background. So it's always doing some watching of the network interfaces, so ArtNet is correctly, it's safe for temperature and so on. So this Linux system is really a server system. It's built for running 24 hours, 7 days a week. It has solid state software, solid state hard disks inside. And it's very, very powerful. And we have two versions, the MDC X1 and this MDC X2. The MDC-X Media Server X1 has an Intel i3 processor. The MDC X2 has Intel i5 processor, or up to i7 on request. The difference between the MDC X1 and X2 is that X1 has one output and the X2 has two outputs. X2 is capable of controlling two mirror heads. I show you here, just one moment. The MDC X1 has one output for one projector. The MDC X2 has two outputs for two projectors. So the MDC X2 is capable of controlling two mirror heads at the same time. The software is the same. It's only the hardware is more powerful and the output of the system is, different. So at the end, you will find the information about MDC, about the mirror head on our website, www.dynamicprojection.com. You will find applications there. You can get some inspiration on what you can do with dynamic projection, what effects you can do, and how to do them. I must tell you at the end that most of the things you will see here are very basic and very simple. You don't break your fingers when you do that. You want to do it easy. You want to do illusion. And the mirror head and the MDC is a perfect tool to do things easy. Not complicated. Software can also always be complicated, but we think you can do good illusions are easy, the easy stuff, the things that are smooth and easy to do and not brain killers. We don't want to be brain killers. So go to our website. There is also a MDC software I showed you before. The whole MDC software is available for Windows for training purposes. Of course, since it's on Windows, there is no server capability. There is no MDC Touch on Windows, but you can train with it. You can do training with it. You can use it for practice and so on. So on request, you can have the MDC software for Windows for training. It will come with the package we send you after the webinar within the next days with all the tutorials, manuals, and all the things. This webinar is always also recorded, so you can also look at it later again. More tutorials will come up on our website and on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and to our webinar and to our newsletters. And on Vimeo, you also find all our videos. So thank you for your attention, and I hope you had a good time. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Send us emails, call us. We are thankful for helping you. And yes, have a nice day, and thank you for attention and participating in this webinar. Thank you, and good day. Bye-bye.